catching the North Korean spy, you're getting the prize from the government, and it's actually benefiting the country and also benefiting me.
It's day 2. We're going to a museum.
I'm grumpy.
Get your sausage.
Go get some culture. We had like a delicious 5-course Korean traditional meal in this beautiful place. Look at the roof. So I'm really excited to see this palace because like, it's a palace. You look beautiful, man.
Thank you.
We're going to
Gyeongbokgung.
Okay, Jin's giving us.
It's a yacht.
Because we've been well behaved.
Cool yacht.
Yacht? Not, but yeah.
How are you supposed to buy this thing?
So you want to wear that? Right? But everyone can't be king, so one of you can be slave.
We're doing this.
And also, we don't walk like that. As a king, you have to put your hands behind you and walk.
Why you look so serious?
Because I'm a king.
We're hiking up the Seoul Tower, 1.2 kilometers, very intense hike. And there's a very convenient gym here, and there's never a bad time to go to the gym. We're gonna do some exercise right now. This is practice when you're gonna milk a cow. We have some classics here. A little bit of push-up thingy. Why are you recording that way?
I don't know.
This is the practice when you're gonna drive the ship. So you just do that.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger, bro.
Nice and deep, bro.
Yeah.
And that's a tour of the Seoul Tower Gym. Love. We made it to the top of Seoul Tower. I'm gonna interject if I may. The day we went to the North Korean border, or Demilitarized Zone, may not look like much, but this is a big deal because South Korea is technically still at war. The DMZ is a strip of land between North and South Korea that is considered no man's land. It was created as part of the Korean Armistice Agreement, which ended full-fledged warfare in 1953, but no peace treaty was ever signed. Because the countries are still at war, the demilitarized zone is actually the most heavily militarized border in the world. We hopped on a tour bus and headed to Gyeongbokgung Resort, a place built to symbolize the hope of someday unifying North and South Korea. We had a very limited amount of time to see some of the monuments reflecting the separation of families here before we were sped into the DMZ. We were taken to one of the tunnels the North Koreans built after the peace treaty was signed. It's believed that North Korea intended to sneak thousands of men through these tunnels and stage a massive attack on South Korea, but North Korea denies this. The first tunnel was discovered in November 1974 when a South Korean army patrol spotted steam coming out of the ground and decided to investigate. So you grab a hard hat and walk for what feels like forever deep into the earth with hundreds of other tourists as you squeeze into single file and duck as the tunnel gets smaller. At the end of the tunnel, you can peek through a little window and see the North Korean side of the tunnel. You can't see anything, but the idea of being right at the border and seeing the results of this crazy failed plan in person is pretty cool. Our next stop was the Dora Observatory, where you can peek across the DMZ into North Korea. The North Koreans have built what they call Peace Village right on the border to show off a modern, prospering town. Today's telescopic lenses, however, have shown that these buildings are mostly empty and simply a smart attempt at propaganda. Many South Koreans now refer to it as Propaganda Village. Our final stop was a very quiet Dorasan rail station, a station that once had a railway line connecting North and South Korea. It's actually been refurbished and looks beautiful and modern. It currently stands as a symbol of hope for a unified Korea. I knew very little about Korean history before going to South Korea, so this trip was very eye-opening. Korea seems to be caught in the middle of this battle between communism and capitalism. Many of its citizens would rather have one united country. This all started when Japan decided to occupy Korea in the late 1800s. When the Japanese lost World War II, the Russians and Americans agreed, without consulting the Koreans, to divide the country in two. The South would be occupied by the Americans and the North by the Russians, until the country could become independent again. But the Cold War interfered with these plans, and the two very different ideological views of their new occupiers created a growing divide amongst the Koreans themselves. Over and over again, one side has tried to occupy the other to create one Korea, but interference from the world's big powers kept establishing that middle border. It's a fascinating story and one which is still being told today. Can North and South Korea peacefully put their now very different belief systems aside and become one? Or will we just have a final peaceful establishment of two separate countries? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this war can't carry on forever. Can it? Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Next week, I'm going to be sharing a story of getting naked with my friends in a Korean spa. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it.
Hey, sugar daddy. Say hi.
Bye.